So the wind's calming down tonight. Colorado's red flag warnings have expired while firefighters keep watch on some fires near the springs.
The dry, warm, windy weather earlier today made it tough to keep those flames under control. The West Monument Creek fire near the Air Force Academy has burned more than 160 acres since it started yesterday afternoon. Firefighters are still putting out some hot spots. Crews are battling two wildfires in Fort Carson. One started yesterday and then a second started today. Neither of those fires are threatening any buildings, and fire officials say they don't think these fires are connected.
So now it's the mountain's turn for some wild weather. A winter storm warning is in effect tonight.
Some areas could see wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and get more than a foot of snow. We could get a bit of a rain snow mix in the metro area tomorrow morning before temps drop into the teens tomorrow night. Denver will open its severe weather shelter at McNichols Civil Center building on Colfax to keep people out of the cold.
Kathy Sabins along with a look ahead.
It's nice out there, guys, right now compared to what we saw earlier today. The winds have really eased. We had gusty winds, critical fire weather, low humidity, but it's all about to change in a matter of hours with the arrival of an early morning cool front. The leading edge already bringing some snow into the mountains and some high and mid-level cloud cover. The winter weather and travel advisories will go out overnight tonight as temperatures start to drop. Temperatures are still in the 50s this 9 o'clock hour across portions of eastern Colorado, including downtown Denver. So still very mild with kind of a west to southwest flow ahead of the approaching front. Some of the wind gusts today top 60, even 70 miles per hour. We'll start to see that wind shift out of the north with the arrival of that front in the morning. So the worst of the wind late tonight and tomorrow will be in southeastern Colorado with a high wind warning. Snow starting to fill in now on the radar across western Colorado and along the Continental Divide. We'll be measuring the snow in feet in the next 24 hours. And the southern mountains with gusty winds to 70 and 80 miles per hour could see really hazardous travel conditions. But everybody's going to get in on the action up in the high country. And even here in Denver, we'll see some scattered rain showers in the morning, a cloudy and cooler day, and that rain's going to mix with snow during the morning drive, continue off and on throughout the day. It's a fast moving storm, so it won't last all day and it won't bring a lot of heavy snow to the area, but I think it's just going to be the timing with the morning drive and then the evening drive and then about a 30-degree temperature drop for many areas. So we'll be kind of tracking the timing of all of this for you because it certainly will be a whole lot colder than we've seen, and certainly that could mean that some of the roads could be icy or snowpacked, especially above 6,000 feet. Again, not expecting a lot of accumulation here in the city, but it will be a big change from the weather we've seen for the last 3 or 4 days. Temperatures this evening will be comfortable and stay in the 40s for the most part through the overnight hours, and coming up I'll have the timing and the amounts of the approaching storm and what you'll wake up to on Tuesday morning.
All right, Kathy, thank you. Denver Public Schools brought in a student they knew had a history with weapons in another district. After reading a report obtained by 9 News, families are frustrated by the decisions made by DPS before that same student shot 2 deans at East High.
Here's 9 News crime and justice reporter Kelly Rinke.
A call for help last March at East High reported a shooting inside the school.
You know, that shooting, I think, got all of us very concerned.
Austin Lyle shot 2 deans, only days after classmates buried Luis Garcia, who was shot outside East High.
And to go from Luis's funeral to 4 to 5 days later, a shooting in East during school hours, I think it's deeply personal for the whole community.
Alex Ohms' son was friends with Luis and played soccer with him. Nearly a year later, Alex doesn't feel enough has changed to make students safer.
When did we become a school system where we have kids who are patted down to see if they have weapons or not?
On that day in March, Lyle fired a gun when staff was patting him down for weapons. A report obtained by 9 News last week says before attending East, Cherry Creek School District expelled Lyle for trying to sell a gun and ammunition. When he came to DPS, school leaders only started searching him for weapons when a student reported seeing him with a gun in class.
It was already made no sense to me that a kid who had to be patted down for weapons every day would be allowed to be in a very large comprehensive high school.
Denver police tried to follow up with Lyle at his house. They weren't allowed in. Even if officers had found a gun at the home, DPS says students can only face expulsion if there is a, quote, connection back to the school. Simply put, the gun at home must be in something like their backpack or the jacket they wore to school that day.
And the other thing, reading through the report that was just crazy to me, is how many people knew the kid was a safety threat.
Ohms wants changes to how the district disciplines its students. fearing another call like this could happen again.
It's been almost a year since this shooting happened. The discipline matrix has not been changed.
Denver Public Schools says they're in the process of redoing the discipline matrix. They have about 20 people on a committee made up of teachers, administrators, community members. They have a meeting tomorrow to discuss possible recommendations.
Kelly, when you hear that part about how the gun found has to be in something that ties to school, like the backpack, it reminds me of the other disciplinary procedure within DPS, which is that if you have a student who is charged with something like, say, attempted murder, and it's like a few feet off of school property, that kid can come back to class. But if you're charged with attempted murder for trying to kill somebody on campus, then you're a no-go.
Yeah, and we've heard even seen these annotations that are in the discipline matrix. It hasn't been changed since 2021. We will see if it changes, but Alex was telling me he wished it was changed much sooner.
Kelly Rinke, thank you.
Tonight, police are looking for the person who fired shots near a school in Denver last week. Police announced they're looking for the driver of this silver Kia Sportage with silver wheels and black trim. Those shots were fired last Wednesday at the 28th Avenue and Columbine Street, right outside of Prep Academy. Police say nobody was hurt, but they still need to hear from you. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers.
The Douglas County community is starting to raise money to build a memorial to Kendrick Castillo, the teenager from Highlands Ranch who died stopping a school shooting. Kendrick Castillo was killed when he was rushing a shooter at STEM School Highlands Ranch in 2019. 8 of his classmates were shot that day. All the others survived. Today, Douglas County leaders announced their plan to set up a memorial to Castillo's bravery in Civic Green Park. It's a spot that is special to his family.
As was stated earlier, Kendrick spent time waiting to start robotics in this library with his friends. They would do the STEM launch in this park, which was the kickoff for the school year. He would come here with his friends after school and hang out. So there's a lot of meaning here.
Any funds left over once that memorial is built will be used for a scholarship in Kendrick's memory.
The biggest source of funding in the state to support people who've been a victim of a crime is about to take a massive hit. Now, as 9 News reporter Rachel Krause shows us, service providers are hoping the state can step in so they can keep supporting survivors.
I don't know, it feels like a lot of more people than what already do would fall through the cracks.
At the Blue Bench,
There's not a lot of money coming in.
Laura Patlin sees firsthand the difference their services make for survivors of sexual assault. A drop in deposits to the Federal Crime Victim Fund in recent years means massive decreases to the Victims of Crime Act, or VOCA, funding. The Colorado Division of Criminal Justice says they're expecting a 45% cut in VOCA funds.
So it could just mean shorter hours for the hotline. It could mean that we see less clients out in the community. It reduces the number of people that we can interact with and support.
We're going to be leaving victims of all types of crimes, but particularly victims of sexual assault without resources.
Bree Franklin with the Colorado Coalition Against Sexual Assault, or KUSA, says VOCA is the biggest funding source for victim services in the state, and it's dwindling.
So we went, like I said, from 56 million and then currently we have 26 million. And with the additional cuts, we might have 11 million or 12 million.
VOCA helps fund more than 200 programs around Colorado, including 28 programs here in Denver, serving nearly 21,000 people through more than 111,000 services, like those at the Blue Bench.
If we were to reduce services, maybe we would have to move to a wait list. That just creates a huge barrier for survivors.
Now, organizations like the Blue Bench are asking lawmakers for $30 million in funding to fill the gap VOCA will leave.
It feels like a cloud just hovering behind us, and we'll eventually either get completely stormed on, or hopefully there will be nice protection in the future from state legislators. Maybe they'll hold an umbrella for us.
The Blue Bench, KUSA, victims advocacy groups, and survivors will all be at the State House next week in hopes of urging lawmakers to pass this $30 million one-time funding to help keep these services going for victims. KUSA says they're already working on plans to ensure victim services are able to find a more stable source of funding so they don't have to worry about VOCA funds dropping low like this again.
The type of resources these organizations provide for victims, really can't even be quantified. It's truly important work.
Yeah, and that's exactly why they say they need a steady source of funding, particularly from the state, so they can continue on with this.
All right, Rachel, thank you.